Happy Matching Monday, traders. It is Matt and Jacey with Empire Algorithmic Trading here to bring you your daily dose of Vwapvision's Stock Talk.
It's where we use the volume weighted average price just to make sense of the market. So, kind of a quiet day, Matt, but like I say, let's just get right to it, shall we?
Stock Talk.
Well, happy Monday, Matt. Once again, we both decided to wear the same clothes today, even though we're several thousand miles apart. That's pretty
Yeah,
funny.
great
But
minds.
anyhow,
Great minds.
um, happy Monday to you. I hope it was a nice, good, quiet day for you. It was a nice, quiet day on the market. So, yeah, let's just get right to it, shall we?
Let's do it.
All right. We're going to start off with the S&P 500. Let me get some of these. There we go. All right, SP 500. Nice little quiet down. It was just a day of indecision, right? If this was, it would make a lot of sense now that you know that the VWAP is there. It did kind of run up, right? But it's just calm before the storm. We've got a lot of big earnings reports that are dropping starting tomorrow. And so it's just everybody just kind of waiting to see exactly how these things play out. And same thing with the Nasdaq. Just nice, quiet, calm, right below resistance. The mid cap or the small caps rallied up a little bit more, but again, they didn't really bust out of their trading range, and neither did MDY, the mid caps as well. So, just your typical ho hum day. VIX did go up just a little bit, as one would expect with the with earnings report coming this week. So, not a surprise to see the VIX not continue to go down, but that's also a byproduct of seeing just a standard small tight days. However, we did get a good rally in bonds, so that's nice to see a quick recovery in the bonds. That's going to be important moving forward. So we're going to keep a close eye on that, but not really a whole lot to go over. Spotify, which broke out last week, followed through nicely on Friday. A little bit of riskier, one because we're in the red zone, but also earnings, I believe, is tomorrow morning. So a quick sell-off, 3.7% below before the earnings announcement. So usually it's if a stock's running into earnings, it's almost always the buy the rumor, sell the news. And so sometimes works a little opposite effect. Stock sells off before the earnings report. It has a pretty good chance of popping. So it's all dependent on what they say tomorrow. So it'll be interesting to see how the earnings shake out. ADMA up 12% on the nice day, nice big strong gap. This was a red zone breakout. We didn't like it at the time, and it didn't really look all that great here. It shook out, and then we even noted how it set up a lot better, and that breakout's really rolling quite well.
Look at the
Same,
volume that went up on that one too.
yeah, yeah, big spike there. So someone's buying into that one. That's held up quite well considering the market that we've been in. I think
Right?
it's also, yeah, that's all-time high territory right there. So that's a pretty good breakaway gap there.
No kidding.
Uh, AppLovin, keeping an eye on this one. It's starting to set an apparent bottom. We're starting to see some higher lows there, a little mini trend starting. So it too is running right up to resistance. Last time it ran to the VWAP, turned tail. So if we see an opposite reaction, that's a potential buy signal. And then same thing with Reddit. I don't know. I like these newer issues, man. You know me. I just get stuck on these new issues. So anytime, I think this too is probably close to the all-time VWAP. So it kind of hung out around the all-time VWAP there, finding some institutional support, starting to run up on that with the market. So instead of the early leaders like we were talking about during weekly review, this is probably going to be your next stage stocks. Same thing with Kava. That's starting to find a nice little base down here around its. I believe this is the same thing, IPO VWAP. So back-to-back newer issues. Both went on really nice runs, finding some support at their all-time VWAPs. Carvana, which broke out for us last week, it followed through nicely on Friday. Had another nice follow through today. The only disappointing part is the declining volume. You do want to see volume start to move in on. It doesn't have to be particularly on the day that it breaks out, but you do want to see the volume come into play relatively soon. You don't want to see that stock continue to move higher on decreasing volume. It's like we've said before, it's a branch, and the farther out you go, it's going to snap eventually. Palantir, very strong session from Palantir. The Bears tried pushing it down, had increasing volume, and the Bulls came in and pushed it up higher, closed up near the high of the day. So that's a pretty strong rejection of any weakness. So that's a nice strong look there. And then Tempest AI running right to resistance and then just sitting right there. You've got the both the IPO VWAP and its all-time high VWAP, but I like this pattern. We're seeing a lot of these, right? And so
Yeah.
it's good to know. It's good to see the same things, same patterns holding up. We're seeing success in some of the breakouts that we saw last week, which we'll go over in Arrow review. Palantir is a good example of that. So that just creates more confidence for the next breakouts that are going to happen within the next couple of days, particularly if we get good earnings. Now, this could also just be one giant bull trap. We are right at resistance. And so don't be surprised if things turn south from here. I'm not all in. I have one position right now in Roblox, and I'm just playing it very tight. So I'm waiting for it to prove itself a little bit more, and we get some buying action above the VWAP before I get really committed, because I still think this could be a bull trap. I mean, it's not like all of a sudden the whole system has changed that we were facing just 3 weeks ago, right? And so a lot of, even though there's 90-day talk and they're talking about 90 deals in 90 days, a lot of that needs to come to fruition before we can see anything. So it's just classic bear market rally, running right into resistance, right at the earnings report. So it's going to be a pretty exciting week, and by the end of the week, we'll either know we're just going to be maintain cash or we're going to be fully invested. But I wanted to bring up NVIDIA because I was studying some charts last night, and I was just kind of playing around looking at NVIDIA, and this looked really familiar, right? It's kind of looks a lot like everything we're seeing. It had a nice strong run up, and then it just started basing out right when the market started basing out. I'm going to put the zones on here, right? So you've got a red zone, and it tried breaking out during the red zone, right? And then it ran into resistance, just like we've been seeing, sets a lower low, and then it starts rallying, and it breaks out right as the green zone hits, right?
Wow.
It goes on now. When you zoom in a little bit, it goes on a pretty decent little run. I think this is about 9%, if I remember correctly, 9 or 12%. That's about 9%. There, I think it peaks out there around 12%. So you take a little bit of profit, you're letting those run. Now it gives you an opportunity to do a couple of things. And this is why I bring this up, because I think this is what we're going to see quite a bit of moving forward. We've seen a lot of this double bottom pattern. We're seeing a lot of first attempted breakouts push down, and then the second ones we're starting to see some success. But like I said, almost all of them will test, right? Only 20% of them will just continue to roll and not even test your nerves. Well, NVIDIA did that, right? First, you kind of get a little mini sell signal. But it's close, but it's a potential sell signal there. But then it does test and it pulls all the way down to the VWAP. Now at this point, you've got a 12% gain, which is now a simple 1 or 2% loss, 1% loss, depending on where you bought it this day on the breakout day. So if you were taking profits on the way up, you could lower your stop loss, your break-even stop loss to whatever your profit was below your buy point, right? So let's say it was 6 or 7%. You could set your break-even stop down here. That gives you an opportunity to ride through this kind of volatility. You could also have just taken your profits up here when it starts showing some weakness, and then just wait for it to show support at the VWAP, and then you can just buy that strength, or you can just wait for it to cross that VWAP again, flash another sell or buy signal right there, and then the stock really goes on its run, right? So this, I think, is instructive for what we should expect to see in the coming months, the coming weeks or month, if this rally continues to hold. I think this is going to be a clear pattern we're going to see. We're going to see a lot of stocks running up at that 7 to 12% range, and then come back and test before they go on their big run. Either that or they're just going to completely roll over and fall apart. So that's the reason why I brought NVIDIA up, just to show everybody, hey, this has all happened before, and it will happen again. And don't be surprised if the stock you bought runs up, and then tests your nerves, gives you a little bit of a gut check before finally shaking out a little bit before moving on to new high ground. So, as always, just proper portfolio management, and you'll be just fine.
Yeah, yeah. Keep your losses tight and be prepared to buy in when the buying in's good.
That's right. That's right. And then sometimes just hold on for dear life, baby. Just let that puppy roll, right? The worst that, yeah, it's worse. The worst thing is like shaking yourself out of a good stock. And, particularly when you got a nice little gain, right? And then it shows a little weakness. You're like, all right, I'm going to take this one out. And then 3 days later, it blasts way higher. So, sometimes you got to let those things, if you want to hold on for some of those longer term runs, that's how you got to handle that volatility. You build a little defensive cushion. That's why we take our profits on the way up. And so, if it's something like Nvidia that you believe has long-term potential, or some of these other younger stocks like Reddit, for example, that's how you build that ability to withstand those pullbacks. You can see it find the support, and then you can use it next time it flashes another buy signal to add more shares, and then start building a longer, bigger portfolio out of that. So, a couple of ways to handle it, or you can just take your small 10 or 12% gains in a week and a half, and then move on to the next one too. So, it all comes down to your personal preference.
Yep, exactly. Well, that is it for our stock talk today. So thank you guys for watching and listening on YouTube and Spotify. Make sure you smash that like button, the subscribe button. We appreciate you being here and following us daily. If you want more information about who we are, Matt and JC, go to vwapvision.com, vwapvision.com, to see who we are, our algorithmic trading, what we do with it. If you want access to our daily buy and sell signals from our algorithm, our proprietary algorithm, subscribe to us at Patreon, patreon.com/Empire Algorithmic Trading. And you can get access to some educational videos, our daily arrow reviews, where we dive a little more in depth onto chart stocks that are setting up, what our algorithm has told us are good, positive, strong looking buys, and kind of talk a little bit more about how we use the algorithm. Again, patreon.com/Empire Algorithmic Trading. Otherwise, just follow us on socials: Facebook, Instagram, X, Blue Sky. We're everywhere that you consume your stock activity or stock news. And with that being said, happy trading, JC.
Happy trading, Matt. All right, man. We'll talk to you during Arrow Review. See you soon.
Woohoo! All right, bye, buddy.